So we started exploring chords in cycles in our last session, and to get a boost in fluency, we're going to push ourselves a bit more as we aim to improve the speed of our recall right now. Hey friends, I'm really happy that you could join us again and share our piano proficiency journey together. As always, I want us to stay in touch, so take a moment and subscribe, and of course, share your comments and song analysis suggestions here, or use the Drills for Skills email in the description, okay? So now look, there are no shortcuts to getting more familiar with the chords other than to play them often. And one of the ways that I learned these and still continue to practice them is through a constant structure approach, where I take a single type of chord or shape and move it through the keys. So this is the approach that I want to share with you today. So let's do it. Okay, don't forget to check the description for useful websites that I will include with all of these sessions, and of course the email for all your questions, okay? Now we'll explore the constant structure concept for major seventh, minor seventh, and dominant seventh in this session using the cycle of fifths pattern. And for this, we'll only be going between the root position and second inversion to get going. We'll explore others in an upcoming session, okay? Good, so moving through the cycles will really help us to solidify the shapes for us. And of course, consistent daily hand practice when you separate your hands will truly pay off, right? Keep those hands separate, switch hands and do the same thing. Now look, I know that you'll feel like you want to get your hands together part sooner, and of course you will, right? But trust me on this. Take this slowly and concentrate on developing comfort and of course familiarity. Good stuff. Okay, starting on E flat, left hand. And of course, by starting a half step higher, we will experience each chord in an alternative inversion. So where previously you would have played root position in one hand, now that same chord will be in second inversion. Switch hands. Nicely done. Listen to what you're doing and ensure that you're playing evenly, okay? Good. Now flatten the sevenths to get the dominant seventh, and we do the same exercise. Can you feel the difference in shape? Listen to the sound of it. Of course, remember no pedal now, right? Develop finger control. And of course, doing this consistently will mean that every day you will progressively get better at playing these because they'll get easier. You know that. And this is indeed our objective. We want to have automatic recall so that when we have to play them, we don't have to struggle to remember these shapes. You want them to come naturally, yes? And the more often you do them, your hands will remember them. We're doing well. Alrighty, up a half step. Now look, take the time to develop your ability playing and hearing these, right? And then of course you do that, this will give you a great starting point for your contemporary keyboard skills. Okie dokie, flatten the third, so now we have minor seventh chords. Now look, follow the metronome. This will improve your sense of time, which is necessary if you want to play with other people. Nicely done. Systematically altering these chords from major to dominant to minor helps us to make a note of the differences between these chords. Yeah, you start to feel them better, right? Now, if you've been through our previous sessions, by now you are beginning to feel a sense of confidence with these shapes. And of course, you should be recognizing how they sound too. That's going to help with your transcribing. Good. And remember that wherever you start these cycle exercises, going up a half step or a semitone completes our exposure to the alternative shapes so that each chord gets some good attention, right? Don't neglect this. Very important. Great stuffage, people. Now look, we're going to do a perpetual exercise where we play a single chord quality in their inversions, ascending as chords and descending as arpeggios. And this time we're going to go up in half steps from D to F. This is in part the beginning of our wee little finger workout, so we're in. Okie dokie, we'll start with the major. Keep it nice and even. Make sure your hands are relaxed. Keep them comfortable. And of course, stay in time with the metronome, people. Now for this demonstration, we're only going to do 4 keys, but on your own practice time, you will determine what you want to do. If you're new, you can do less. If you're not so new, you can do more, right? But just whatever you do, stick with it, okay? Good. Minor is next. Hey, look, don't forget to be listening as this will help your ear as well. And of course, your instinct for the shape and feel of these chords should be coming along nicely. And of course, drilling these in this way builds hand endurance over time as well. Nice. On to diminished. Hey, look, remember our mantra, precision and evenness. Make sure all your notes are clear. You got that? Clear. You know how we do. All right. Now look, this is our development, so we want to be detailed in our approach, right? No shortcuts. Augmented. Of course, if you notice, all of the inversions of augmented chords are also augmented chords in root position, so take a look at that. Remember, evenly and in time. And listen to how this sounds. It sounds different, right? So be aware of the shapes and sounds. Good. Suspended. Now this is gonna feel a wee bit wonky, as the intervals are not so familiar because of the presence of that fourth. You notice it? Well, pay special attention to it. And also make a mental note of the sound as well. That's gonna be important. Good. Bigger chords now, major 7th. Of course, the arpeggio here will have a quicker subdivision, so prepare yourself. Yeah, we're building facility here now, right? So slow down if you need to. No ego here. Go at your pace. And of course, working on the hands separately will allow us to identify and fix problems quickly. Dominant 7th. You know, just know that as long as you maintain a consistent schedule, you will see the results. Trust me. Always keep the vision of playing well in your mind. And of course, practice with the intention of fulfilling that dream, right? Minor 7th. Of course, keep paying active attention to both your hands and note any difficulties that you may have. Purposeful repetition is the only path to improvement, so keep going. Believe me, I do this too. And remember to stay loose, do not strain, okay? Looking good. Minor 7 flat 5, otherwise known as the half diminished. You know, another good idea would be to journal your practice, okay? You really actually want to keep track of the difficulties so that you can carefully address them. Journaling helps that so that you know exactly what you're doing. Diminished 7th. Now, like the augmented triad, all of the inversions of these chords are themselves root position diminished chords, so pay attention to that as well. Now look, as we go further, this relationship, this one with the diminished, is going to prove quite useful. Trust me. Excellent. Alrighty, well, let's finish off our wee wiggly finger workout with some similar and contrary motion major and natural minor scales, 2 octaves each way in D and E flat. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna start with D major. And of course, if you're new to this, just do 1 octave in each direction to get accustomed to the contrary motion, okay? Of course, play at your own pace. Be comfortable, play evenly, and as accurately as possible. We will want to do this because we will improve if we do them consistently, right? So be mindful of tense hands. For now, we will repeat each round twice, but you can design your own in your own practice time so that, you manage the time that you have available to you. Good, let's do D minor. Now, the idea is to do a little every day. Check this out. Consistent daily practice in shorter periods is more beneficial than long, sporadic, and inconsistent practice periods, okay? Set aside the time and stick to it as much as possible, right? Up to E flat. Always keep your goal of playing better in mind as you practice. You'll need to do that because there will be good days when you will feel inspired and it'll be yay! But let me tell you, there are going to be those days that you are going to want to quit. And when those days come, cast your mind back on those goals that you set for yourself, yes? And stick to the schedule. Don't mind how you feel. You just can't let frustration get the better of you. And of course, when you make mistakes, correct them and keep moving. It's really not the mistakes that you should worry about, right? It's if you let them stop you from growing. Journal your challenges so that you always know what you have to work on. there will always be areas that we need to work on to improve. This doesn't ever stop. Coming down the home stretch, people. Keep going. Well done. Now that's the way to do it, right? Now look, remember to add these to your routine as you get progressively more comfortable with your playing, okay? And don't forget, 3 keys daily. Got it? And as always, make time to listen and transcribe, and I'm looking forward to your comments and emails of songs to listen to and work through. Or of course, if you have other tutorial suggestions. And also, subscribe and stay in touch with your successes and struggles, right? Have a fantastic week of practice, and God willing, we will meet here again to share more drills to increase our skills.